Well,
So,
you've certainly done a lot to try to get that word out, and one of the ways that you've done it, I believe, if I've got this straight, you are the one that told Dana about this product. Is that correct?
actually, that's true. I did share with my good friend Dana. I'm so excited she's on this call. I just love
And she is our next. She's our next guest. I want you to stay on the line here with us now, Lisa, because I'm going to ask Dana to comment on the things that you've said and also to tell her own story. But I want to welcome Dana Longpreet to the call right now. Dana has a degree in psychology with honors. And she has worked in group homes and contained classrooms with children with autism, and she's a behavioral specialist for over 8 years. She's an author, singer-songwriter. That's dear to my heart because I'm a singer-songwriter, and a public speaker. Currently, she's working on a new book called Overcoming Mood and Behavioral Challenges with Maximized Living on a Budget. Dana, welcome to our call today.
Thank you so much for having me today, Pope, and it's so fun to be on here with Lisa, my dear, dear friend.
Well, I know that you have been inspired by Dylan's story, and you have your own story. So share with us, what got you interested in Laminine, how it's affecting your life and your children's lives, and where you see us going with this in the future in terms of helping families and children with these issues.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I'd love to share. Well, first of all, Lisa and I have known each other, probably about, about 5 or 6 years it's been. Initially, she was assigned to me actually as an aide for my son in Sunday school so my husband and I could go to church. So that's how we were introduced to each other. And right away, I knew that she was a great fit for my son. His name is Nathan. And yeah, we just became fast friends, and it was just really neat to see her kind of really in a mentorship position for me because her son is about 6 years older than my son, and so right away we just had a special bond, and I was so thankful for her being in my life. And then, I think it was actually a year ago for me as well, where I was up late one night just worn out from my son has an Asperger's diagnosis, so he has high functioning autism. To clarify that term Asperger's is no longer in the medical books anymore. They actually dropped that about a year and a half ago as an official diagnosis, and now they're kind of just lumping all kids with autism under a new term called the autism spectrum disorders. But I still like to use the word Asperger's because I think a lot of people, really the general public, is still using it, and it does kind of clarify the functioning level of my son, just to give people a picture. So anyway, my son is highly verbal, but has extreme anxiety. And so a lot of kids on the autism spectrum have extreme difficulty with sleeping, and my son was no exception. Falling asleep, staying asleep, those are all the common things I hear over and over again in my professional career and personally experiencing myself with my own son. Falling asleep, staying asleep, and then having a restful sleep. My son was not having a restful sleep, couldn't fall asleep, wouldn't stay asleep, and was like doing cartwheels, backflips, and everything else while he was asleep. And so one night when he finally did fall asleep, I was just completely worn out, as always, just trying to get through that nighttime routine. And I went on Facebook and I saw Lisa talking about Laminine, and I just thought she was starting to talk about Dylan's sleep, ironically, and that story that she just shared. And I was just hanging on the edge of the computer, just eating the words up, just going, oh my gosh, there's something that's helping with sleep. What? I have to know what this is. I'm desperate. And I'm just crying and reading this testimony that she just shared. And I told my husband, I'm like, you have got to read this. You've got to read. I'm like, what if this could help Nathan? And we were at the end of our rope with him at that time. He was just, his anxiety had spiked. It can kind of rise and fall, but it was really high at that point in our lives, and difficulty falling and staying asleep was very severe. And so I was extremely exhausted with him. during the day because he was having meltdown after meltdown, and it was mood after mood, and recovery time, just like Lisa's saying, would take about 15, 20 minutes, to recover, and then there would be another concern, and it was just up and down all day long.
Wow, I guess you were ready for some kind of help.
Yeah,
with this
just exhausted. You can see.
So what happened after you gave him the Laminine?
Well, right away, we started with one pill because my son was very small at the time. Oh gosh, it was, weighing about 40, 45 pounds,
okay.
A little guy, you know what I mean? And so we thought, well, we better just start him out on one, just to make sure. And we were ready for a big detox because that's one of the things they say can happen, which is, great. But at the same time, I was kind of gripping the table, so to speak, to wait for more behaviors to come until we got to see some results like what Lisa saw. And you know what? He did not have any detox response, so we were really excited about that, but we didn't see any real change in him with just one. And so Lisa was like, well, I'm doing one in the morning and one at night. Why don't you try that? And so we did.